She told me put my heart in her bag and nobody gets hurt. Now I'm running from her love. I'm not fast, so I'm making it work. Now I'm digging up a grave from my past. I'm a whole different person. It's a gift and a curse, but I cannot reverse it.
Alright, as always, we started in Soundtrap. We had all the takes comped, recorded, and everything, how it is in this project right now. That's the entire first step and the most important part, getting a good take. Here's what they all sound like. Dry.
She told me put my heart in her bag and nobody gets hurt. Now I'm running from her love. I'm not fast.
5 tracks. I put a little bit of Soundtrap auto-tune because I'm in a paid version right now. You don't need it. I put it super light, mainly because I had a great vocal performance. Here's what they all sounded like. You come out, export them, and put them into Audacity.
Back up, chopper break his back like chiropractors or something.
All the chains are written down right here. For the main vocal, secondary vocal, and the third vocal, here is the chain. Starts with Slick EQ. And I just put it on the British setting because I think the EQ saturation sounded better. Next was a multiband compressor, which I have not talked about on this channel before, but it's basically a compressor for a certain EQ band, and it's super simple, but I did it to the 2.5K section with, again, Tokyo Dawn Nova. Now on the compressors, I had 2 instances of M compressor. Is not essential that you have 2 of them. I did it just like this. This is the exact settings that I had for what I had. They're pretty high, and it's mainly because I wanted to keep the dynamics below and really squash the stuff that came above a certain threshold. So the 2 settings that I had for this, and the 5th and last effect I came in with was a limiter, and if you could see, I just wanted to touch the top of the waveform just to make sure it cut just the tippy top little hairs off of the top of the waveform. So it's not like really limiting at all. I barely boosted anything. I just put the stock limiter on there and the limit of 0, so 1 clip. That's pretty much it. Keep in mind, I'll be using a bunch of third-party plugins that are all absolutely free again, but essential. I'm going to leave a link to all the downloads below for every plugin that I use right here. First one with all the dry effects sound like this, but it is not over yet. But it sounds like this.
Told me put my heart in her bag and nobody gets hurt. Now I'm running from her love. I'm not fast, so I'm making it work. Told me put my heart in her bag and nobody gets hurt. Now I'm running from her love. I'm not fast, so I'm making it work.
There is a big key at the end of all of these dry takes that'll have everything that kind of combines together and makes something really, really cool. Let's get into the next ones, the double and the effects.
Making money while these other niggas still making assumptions.
What? Something I haven't gone over in this channel before is putting a heavy auto-tune plugin on your effects channel before you go into the reverb. So what that does is not give you a very auto-tune sound in your dry vocal, but a very, very on-tune reverb when it reverberates throughout the rest of your song using M auto pitch, of course. Next, I'm showing on the screen right now every single plugin that I had for the main chain. I put on here the 5 main effects that I had on the main chain. I put on here for consistency. I just wanted to redo what this chain was for the reverb. So going into the reverbs, it's like the exact same vocal as being reverbed with the compression and all these settings. After those 5, I did Izotope Imager to make it wider. Enabled 100% on mode 2. That's what I did for this one. Last thing that ties this all together is using Supermassive by Valhalla, which is the reverb that we're going to use for every one of these tracks. A little differently though, so I'll go in and show you the exact settings that I have, but I'm basically just using it as kind of a quick delay and doubler. This is what it sounds like.
Not fast, not fast.
Get the bacon and blazing. I put your body in the oven.
The reverb track and like the effects track, basically these are doubles, quote unquote, of the original. It's like a delayed by a quarter note signal, and I'm just going to add reverbs and a little bit of delays to that. You'll see how this all goes.
Put my in a bag, Nova.
Notice that that is not a double of Chris's original voice or the main voice. I'm doing slightly different notes because that's how the record goes. I just wanted to be 100% accurate. It's basically a double, but he'll change the notes sometimes. So I just like re-recorded and shifted it over. So I'm doing that as well. Major key for effects, adding Freeamp, which is a free distortion app. I love the way it sounds, and you're just adding a little bit of the distortion to the delays and stuff like that. Makes them stick out a little bit more. And a compressor, just to make sure we have everything on here all set. Reverb that I used on Supermassive that I could get that was closest sounding to the Juice WRLD record was this, before and after. Not fast, making it work.
Grave from my past, I'm a whole different person. It's a gift. Not fast, making it work. Grave from my past, I'm a whole different person.
Double my money, I guess my shit really make love.
Tell 'em that.
Not done yet. Super major key right here. I've never done this on the channel before. It was something else that I did differently here. It was a tip that I remember from doing things in Ableton, which was that I used to send everything to a parallel reverb track. I've done parallel reverb tracks before, right? We've seen that on this channel. But if you take all the channels that you want to duplicate, parallel, and reverb, you could get just a reverb and a delayed reverb track alongside everything. So you're going to have 6 main tracks. So what I'll do is I'll solo and mute everything else but the 3 main vocals and the doubles, because I want the 3 main vocals and the doubles to have the parallel compression on them and the reverb on them, and just to have them like subtle so they're there and they're pushed back a little bit in the mix so it's super clean. So I'm going to make that track right now. We go in, and after all those 4 are the only ones that are playing, go and export your track, file, export, save as a wave, and then we're going to put that wave file back into the project. Now if I did everything right, I should have a track that looks like this, because I have 4 super compressed tracks that are just like the exact same level the whole time. I shouldn't have something that looks like my originals, because this is what the final looks like. Very straight, very plain compressed track. A compressor with a -33 threshold because it's just super compressing, and a 20 ratio. So again, we made a parallel compression track by exporting the 4 main tracks and now putting it back into the project. That's a parallel compression. And now let's do parallel reverb track. Now let's do the exact same thing. Put the track back in, but do it with a heavy auto pitcher and a reverb again. So you have the reverb for the main ones just as much as your delays. So again, M auto pitcher, 100% depth and speed. Same reverb settings, Capricorn Reverb 2000 for the Supermassive reverb, which sounds like this.
Every time you're insecure, is your love for real? Is your love really true? She told me put my heart in her bag.
I love how that hits me compared to just having like a vocal track and then you throw reverb on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is like, you get the main one, it's punching you in the face, it's where it needs to be, and then you're getting all this reverb stuff around. That's basically it. Here's the whole track.
She told me put my heart in her bag, and nobody gets hurt. Now I'm running from her love. I'm not fast, so I'm making it work. Now I'm digging up a grave from my past. I'm a whole different person. It's a gift and a curse, but I cannot reverse it.
Now you could put all the tracks back into Soundtrap if you want, and then you can mess around with things. You can mess around with like whatever song that you have if you still want to arrange things. I'm doing a lot more of these, and they are all in the works. Trust me, I already have a Drake one done on here. It's kind of done. I kind of don't sound like Drake, but I don't know. I might just release the video. I might just do it. But the Drake one is coming up. Quando Rondo, YSN Flow is definitely up there. But I'll show them all on the screen right here. I'll show them all like the people that I'm like gonna do with this series. Leave a comment which one you want to see, because I want to know which one to release after the Drake one. Peace. Like it down below. Liking the video really helps. All right, now I just gotta remind you sometimes of what is down there, because like people like it and then they would like it, but we all just forget. So whatever. Peace.